Hi, good evening, everyone. Dr. James Lanny with Statistics Solutions, here to answer your burning questions from topic development to that fantastic or horrible advisor you have, all the way through how do I submit this dissertation and finally move on to my life. Okay, so first thing want to do is obviously raise your hand or type your question in the chat pane to your right. When you do so, my able assistant will unmute you and we'll be able to talk to each other. Okie dokie. So we have a small crowd. That means just two of you. No, I'm teasing. So we have a few. We just have a few. And we'll take as many questions as I possibly can throughout. So just my own orientation. I'm curious what school you're at and where in the process you are. Some people may be in the beginning stages. Some people may not even have started, and so forth. So just curious where you are in the process, if you're in the process, where you are in the process, and I am curious about the school that you went to. Also, if you'd like to share how you've heard about this. Did you hear about it from a friend? How did you hear about our webinar, in our webinar series? So, while we're waiting for that, and then we'll start taking questions, and we'll give other people an opportunity to log on. Okay. And okay. So okay. So we'll start with Beanie. Well, Benny. Pardon me, Benny. Okay, so okay, so you want to unmute Benny? Sure. Okay, fine. Oops. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Benny. Hi, Benny.
Yes. Hi. How are you?
Fine. Nice to speak with you.
Okay.
All right, Benny. So let me just understand. So where are you in the process?
Okay. I am in the IRB approval process. Okay. I'm with Capella University, and I am waiting for IRB approval. I have a qualitative study, and yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's good. So you're doing a qualitative study.
Yes.
So the truth of the matter is, in the IRB, you probably said something like, we're going to use NVivo or MaxQDA or whatever it is, right?
That's one of my questions. I do not know what is the best software to use. I really don't know.
Okay. The best software to use, sorry software companies, the best software to use is just your brain, okay?
Oh, okay.
So the software helps you organize that information. So if you were looking for multiple themes, for example, and you had lots of data, then, NVivo or these other ones would be fantastic. But as it turns out, for most dissertations, the qualitative software, you have maybe 5 to 15 interviewees, maybe, 5, 10 pages perhaps. All of the software, well, doing the analysis in qualitative, what do you have to do? You have to read through all the information. Well, I'm going to be thematizing as I'm reading that information, okay? So I'm going to read the information, I'm going to start getting the feel of the information, and then I'm going to start thematizing that. That is, pulling out excerpts that I think have themes in it. And I'm going to be doing phenomenological, grounded theory, or case study. Or
I'm
don't you
doing,
know?
okay, I'm pretty much doing interviews. I have to do 12 to 15 interviews.
Okay. Have you identified one of those three types of interviews that I was referring to or not?
Okay, I think I'm doing semi-structured. Is
What
that,
kind of structure?
okay, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Okay. So typically under the qualitative roof, there are different types of qualitative studies. One of them is phenomenological, where we really get into lived experience of the participants. Another one is grounded theory, where you're trying to actually develop a theory from those interviewees. The other one is case study, which could be interviews or different kinds of, it's just kind of getting a situational situation. There's also ethnography, but those are less used in the social sciences and kind of, what school were you part of? What
Okay,
department?
okay,
I know you're in Capella, but
Capella University, the School of
yeah,
Education.
School of Education. Okay.
Yeah.
And how many interviewees are you are planning on getting?
I'm supposed to do between 12 and 15.
Got it. And how long are the interviews going to be?
Hopefully no more than between 45 minutes and an hour. Hopefully no
Okay,
longer than,
yeah, keep them shorter than that, Benny, okay?
okay.
All right, you may put down 45 minutes to an hour, but all of those things have to be transcribed, and all of those, get to the heart of it and get in and out of there,
Okay.
okay? My job, and I say this to all of you here, okay, my job is to have you all graduate in a year, okay? You half a year or less. So to do that, listen, everyone talks about how many interviews do I need? Well, I need to reach saturation. Okay, that's all fine and well if you're a multi-million-dollar funded researcher with an NIH grant. You're a doc student that we're looking to get out of school, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
in the spirit of being a doc student that's not funded, okay, make the interviews shorter, okay? Get to the heart of it. You can ask an extension question or two, but let's get to it and move along. So, keep the interviews short. Just as you read through them, just look to see, what theme. Read over those passages and see if themes are jumping out at you. When I did a kind of a mixed method when I was doing my own, and the rule of thumb that I kind of used, or my advisor used, was really 3 excerpts constituted a theme. Or as I said, for a long time, one hot day doesn't make a summer, right? One interview's response does not make a theme, okay? So just read through them. And what you want to do is, when you have 3 excerpts that you have that kind of coalesce around a theme, you want to, line number them, and that's your theme. That's one theme, okay? And you want to go through the rest of the document. I want to add one other piece. So you can do that without any software, okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, even I've read a ream of paper, 500 pages of transcripts. It was a very long Christmas day, because it was on Christmas Day that I did this. And I still didn't use software, and just take notes on the side and pull it off, Obviously, the participants have numbers, the transcripts have line numbers. Get a full transcriptionist. We can help with that transcriptionist. We can help provide statisticians.
Okay.
Because in qualitative, we do qualitative research for all of you out there, but we also do the individual kappas, which speaks to the reliability of identifying those themes, okay?
Okay.
So, and you can just call our main number, speak to Carrie or Janine, and they can talk to you about that, okay?
Okay.
Carrie or Janine.
Okay.
All right. So, okay, so that's the start of it, and I think we're, okay, so we get to the moment? Benny?
Yes.
Okay. Did I answer everything that you wanted to ask?
Okay. Yes, you sure did. And basically, okay, so you all provide transcription services?
From transcription to coding jointly with you or individually to the intermediate reliability of the kappa coefficient, so we can assist with that, analyzing of that qualitative data. It's best, I mean, you know, when I was doing mine, I had, 5 other coders. We spent a year, okay, at my kitchen table, thematizing these, 3 psychotherapy transcripts. You don't have to do that, but the more the merrier. Okay. So if you did link, and that's, a little bit, I would say, better because you're the one doing the interviews, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're going to have a different point of view than, I'll say, a novice rater on our part, okay? We're going to make sure it makes sense, okay? But yeah, give Janine or Carrie, with a K, a call.
Okay.
877-437-8622. And you can probably get right in and talk to them. They'll give you a quote. They may ask for a copy of a transcript, but you may not have them yet because you're an IRB. So, okay. All right, and we'll also shoot you an email and follow up with you as well.
Okay. That'll work. Okay, and one more question. Okay, what does this workshop on May 9th involve?
So the workshop on May 9th is really going from the beginning of having the right attitude towards this process and empowering you fully to move through in a strong fashion and having the determination to continue on as you move through the chapters, IRB, results and discussion chapter. So what I want you to do is to come out like a tenacious tiger.
Okay.
Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, I said tenacious tiger. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So that's what I want everyone to do, okay? So you come in, and if you're halfway through the process, that's fine, okay? So pop in, well, you'll want that first part of that, but you also want, the last hour or two as well. Or just forego that. Don't even wait the month. Call Carrie or Janine and Carrie, and they'll move things forward with you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, you're in Clearwater, right?
We are in Clearwater.
Okay.
Where are you located?
I'm in Jacksonville.
Come on down.
Jacksonville, Florida. Yes, it would be easy.
Perfect.
Yes. I would like to kind of schedule a time to come down and speak with you all.
All right. Who are you going to come talk to?
Okay, I'm not sure. I'm going to call the Carrie or Janine.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. There we go. All right. I'm going to move to another caller, okay?
Okay, thanks.
We look forward to meeting you. All right. Tenacious Tiger.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Nice speaking with you, Benny. Okay. So we're going to go to the next question. Can you make this a little bit larger for me? No, fine. Okay. Sure. Okay, so Adrian, is it Adrian?
Yes,
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Good. You're very soft-spoken, Adrian.
Oh, okay. Is it better now?
It is better now. You're speaking just fine, but a whole different tone and tempo. Okay. So, what is your question?
Oh, I just typed
here it
the
is.
question. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Currently in proposal phase. Okay. Okay. So you're in proposal phase. As part of certification, the requirements and conducted a pilot study. Okay. Prior to proposal. Great extent. Dissertation is going to be an extension of the size and scope. Where exactly shall I include the findings and implications of the proposal? So you do basically where you including the pilot, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Well, your question presupposes that it must be included.
I had a discussion with my advisor. It seems like she wanted it to be part of it, at least to be included.
So fine. So the place to do it then would be, if you're doing, so are you past the, so you did the pilot, do you have a prospectus going or no need for that now?
I actually passed the certification exam, so I'm preparing for the proposal right now.
Fine. So I would do the proposal and the, so intro, lit review, introduction, lit review, methodology, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In that methodology, I would say, oh gosh, we're going to do a pilot study prior to, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The pilot, as well as the full study, is going to have the same body of information. That is, you know, we're going to have a sample from this population. We're going to have a set of instruments. You're doing quant or qual?
It's a qualitative study, actually a corpus study, a corpus analysis.
A what analysis?
A corpus analysis, yes.
I'm not familiar with a corpus analysis. What department of school was that in?
I'm in the linguistic department of Columbia University.
Linguistic. Okay, that's why. Can you? I am not familiar with that offhand. Can you say more about a corpus?
So basically, it's text. A corpus is like a database of linguistic data. So my database in the pilot study was a textbook corpus. So it consists of a series of a textbook series with language with all the language data extracted from the book series into a condenser, which helped me further extract the data into meaningful categories for me to analyze them according to the linguistic parameters that I've set up.
Yeah. So you may want to. I would check with the advisor. In this particular case, my gut is thinking that you should actually have a study 1 and a study 2. That pilot is going to be a study 1.
That part actually was completed in the certification exam, and I wrote a paper.
They still want it included, though, is what I heard you say.
Because that might have to do with the fact that in the main research question is actually trying to validate hypothesis proposed by my advisor. So I'm trying to help her validate her hypothesis. And what I was doing in the pilot study was that I established some tentative propositions or maybe like some observations from the data, and I establish some assertions, and this time in the dissertation I'm going to try to use like a larger size of data to try to see if those assertions still holds. Yeah.
Yeah. I would just ask your advisor how they want that laid out. It's going to be laid out in one of two ways. Either going to lay it, well, three ways. One is you're going to use it as an unpublished manuscript and put it on a lit review. Two, you're going to put it in a methodology as one study with a pilot study. Or three, you're going to put it as a study one and a study two in your methodology. And then your findings. So it's going to take one of those three forms.
What is the difference? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What is the difference between the second one and the third option that you just mentioned?
The one option is saying, hey, I have one methodology that is going to be one methodology where I'm actually doing a pilot as you did, and then moving on to a larger sample in that population. Perhaps a different sampling methodology too, but maybe it's the same exact one except just larger or more extensive. Rather than, here's a clean study one with textbooks, procedure, analysis. Here's study two with textbooks, procedure, analysis. So one is seeing it as one holistic whole, and the other one is seen as two distinct studies.
So the second option was seeing those two as two different separate studies. Do you mean the assumptions and the procedures involved would be different? That's why I would, and if that's the case, I would go for this third option. Is that what you're saying?
I am, that something's going to have been learned and distinct from the first study, and that led into hypotheses and to a different study and study two. So it may well be that.
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty much like make a summary of what I have learned from the pilot study, and then what lessons I've learned from that, and then from there I would build upon these findings and tentative observations that I have, and something like that.
And obviously check Adrian with your advisor to make sure. You know, the carpenter's rule: measure twice, cut once. The rule for all doc students are, when in doubt, question it to make sure you were not writing this thing up twice, okay? All right. Other questions you have at the moment?
I have a question about how to connect the whole proposal from the first chapter to I think I have to write till the fourth chapter on the expected outcome. So I read some books from like the Chicago style manual and something else, a manual for writers of dissertations and books like that, and then they suggested something like developing a central argument and then try to connect each section, each chapter with that central argument all the way through. Is that the way to go?
You need to attend the webinar in May, okay? There's no quick short answer about that, okay? Obviously, I mean, the short for a full description of how these things all tie together, check the May webinar. It's $45. Obviously, I'll just say that I look at the dissertation or any research project as an hourglass, where you have that introduction, which is introducing the topic to people who know the topic, to a literature review, which is not only reviewing the body of knowledge, but also building an argument of why we want to examine these hypotheses using this qualitative approach and these observations now. And then to a other side of that hourglass that is still narrow, which is here's the findings, just the facts, ma'am, to a discussion chapter, which is saying here are the implications of all of this for theory, for practice, future research, and so forth. So, and how that fits into the existing literature. So that's the short answer, okay, of how these things are all connected in this hourglass, you know, kind of format, I'll say. But it's a more detailed process than that, okay?
So that means what you're saying is like I need a central argument to connect not just the theoretical framework, but also the methodology as well as the findings, the discussion. So basically connect everything together.
Just like the body, the hands connected to the arm and to the elbow, to the shoulder, everything's connected. You're not doing disjointed things. You're doing one thing. Everything should be tied together, just like parts of the body.
So that means even for because I'm doing a corpus analysis, my population, so to speak, is actually like linguistic targets, like language structures. So that means I should also make a connection between those structures and the theoretical framework that I'm using.
Everything's got to be connected, of course.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. But it seems to be like easier said than done.
It's easier said than done. We're happy to. I love keeping it have to pushing our resources. That's not the intent of this Q&A, but certainly we can help with that. And who would you contact?
I remember two names, but I.
Carrie and Janine, or
yes,
Janine,
Carrie.
okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
Carrie
the consultation's free. It's a free 30-minute consultation.
All
okay?
right.
Or come visit us. You know, the easy way is May. We're going to go through the whole shebang, okay? We get to spend 4 hours, so that's the opportunity. I want to catch other calls because we have several other questions. And I know we're halfway through. I'm only on second question. Are we okay? You okay for the moment?
Sure, I'm okay. Thank you.
We look forward to speaking with you. Thanks so much for the questions.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Sure, my pleasure. All right, I'm going to go to Maxine now. Okay. All right, and Maxine, are you there, Maxine?
Yes, I am. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Where are you calling from, Maxine?
I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. You know, we just did a full day webinar out there recently.
Oh, really?
Yep. So I swear, out of the whole country, Atlanta's going to be filled with nothing but doc students. There's so many people in Atlanta getting their doctorate. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know that. You're absolutely correct.
How do you know that? I know that because I talk to you guys and gals all the time. How do you know that?
Well, I'm in the healthcare education business, so that's how I know.
I got it. Got it. So your question is about how best to organize Chapter 4, correct?
That's correct. I've got great results. I'm working with Janine and your group, and they're fantastic folks. And so I just got my results yesterday, and I'm looking at it, but I knew that this was coming up, and I can always contact them, but I wanted to know how best is it for me to go about organizing Chapter 4? I basically have a great
so wait a
idea.
second. So you spoke with them, but you haven't signed on with us yet.
No, I'm not done with you yet, but I'm doing it in bits. I'm doing it bits and pieces.
All right. Well, I'll add to the bit, and it's a quantitative analysis.
Quantitative, correct.
All right. When you sign on, Maxine, okay, when you allow us to assist you, what we're going to do is the following, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, it should be organized as follows. To me, you have a descriptive
Correct.
of, overall, okay? What are the ages, genders, and so forth, education, whatever,
I did that.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The reason for that is that this helps us to generalize, okay, if you're talking about all healthcare educators, that it may be different than to other kinds of departments. So you want descriptive about who to generalize this to.
Okay.
Then you want to chew in hypothesis by hypothesis. Hypothesis 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Want to reiterate that hypothesis. I want to identify the analysis that I'm going to conduct. I want to describe the assumptions of those analyses. Okay.
Yes.
Then after I describe the assumptions of the analyses, those assumptions are going to be violated or not. If they're violated, those analyses, the primary analyses, may still be robust or trustworthy or not.
Correct.
There has to be some call there.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to get into the reporting of the analysis with respect to that hypothesis. Okay. Then you're going to present the tables and figures associated with that hypothesis. Then you're going to have a clear sentence. The null hypothesis is rejected, or an alternative is supported, or some darn thing of this sort. Okay?
Okay. Gotcha.
You're going to get into clear, accept or reject the null. And then you're going to go to the next hypothesis, and you're going to drill through those hypotheses one at a time. Okay.
Okay.
Then you're going to have some summary of those key findings. These hypotheses were supported. These were rejected. These you had kind of partial support or mixed results and so forth. Okay?
Gotcha.
That's the organization of Chapter 4. With our accelerated quantitative results, they call it AQR. Our AQR, it's like $500, and in 2 hours you're going to get a template of what I just talked about, believe it or not. Our proprietary software, okay, and our skilled statistician is going to get you a draft of your write-up in an hour or so. That's going to be an important document to move you forward, not only through the results chapter, but also through to prime you for the discussion chapter. So you're going to move things much more quickly than you would have otherwise for basically a nominal fee. If you have something, I'll say different, like a weird data set or data management that's completely unruly, then that's a different story. But if you're like most people and you have a normal data management, I'll say, our AQR for $600 is a little data management, a draft of those results through our proprietary natural language-based software, and an explanation walkthrough of that. And if you did, who would you contact for that?
Jeannie and Terry
Jeannie!
and Casey
Well, Terry, you're close enough.
and
Terry or
Casey.
Jane? Or
Terry, Jeannie,
well,
Casey, all those folks, yes.
there you go. And it's really, it's inexpensive. I mean, it's going to save people weeks of work. Okay? And it can save you weeks of work as well. And you're going to be so delighted. You're going to go tell all your friends. Sadiq Solutions down in Clearwater have proprietary software that within an hour or an hour and a half, you're going to get a draft of your results. It's a phenomenal situation. Typically, people get stuck for hours, okay, or weeks rather, in doing this. Weeks, okay? All right, so you're either going to fall into a bucket where it's going to be done in an hour or two, or you have some other complicated case in terms of a crazy data set, perhaps, or data sets can be weird, or your analyses are weird. That is to say, you're doing some complicated structural equation modeling or something of this sort. But aside from that, most, I'll say, basic things like regressions and COVIDs, correlations, mediation, moderation, all of these things can be handled very quickly, and our automated software will put you in a position to tweak it and move on to a discussion chapter. Got it?
Got it.
All right. Maxine, good talking with you. I'm going to move on to the next. You're very welcome. I'm going to move on to the next call and the next question.
Cheryl.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to move on to Cheryl. And hi, Cheryl.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. How are you tonight?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. Where are you calling from, Cheryl?
I'm calling from Kansas City.
Kansas City. How'd you hear about us over there in Kansas City?
Online. Just
Online.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yes.
I'm so glad you found us.
Me too.
And pleasure to speak with you. So let me just look at your question. I'm wondering if it's appropriate to conduct research with one research question, and being a multiple regression analysis, I've been encouraged to drop the two-way in over my study to do multiple regression. I dissuade people from doing one analysis for one primary reason. It makes for a really, really short results chapter.
Uh-huh.
That's one reason I dissuade people. What I do, and I like at least 3 research questions, and one way to facilitate that is oftentimes, without collecting any more data, you can make that one research question several research questions. Well, how do you do that? What is your one research question?
Okay, well, if it were the multiple regression, as I've been advised to do, it's to what extent does a relationship exist between a veteran's likelihood of self-disclosure level and marital intimacy. Oh, sorry, no, I'm doing the wrong one. That's the ANOVA. Here's a simple one. Do attachment style, self-disclosure, and demographic variables predict levels of intimacy in veterans' marriages?
Attachment styles, demographics, and what else?
Self-disclosure.
Got it. Predict.
Levels of intimacy in veterans' marriages.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, so that could be one regression, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Where all 3 of these things, attachment, demographics, and self-disclosure, you could add another question. So let's just say that attachment and let's just say gender both predict intimacy styles, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You could ask the question, do those 2 differ from each other? That is, maybe they're both significant predictors of intimacy, but maybe attachment style is significantly better predictor than gender. So you can have an add-on question, okay?
Okay.
That's one approach.
Okay.
So you can keep your main question. You can have this ancillary question. Another type of question that you can ask, again, without using any more data, you can look to mediation and moderation, okay? These are just nice ways of using the data and organizing the data. So, for example, have you heard the terms mediation and moderation with respect to regression?
Yes.
And hypothesis? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a refresher for you, maybe novel for other people. So you could ask things, mediators actually, mediating variables explain the relationship, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Moderators strengthen or weaken a relationship. So we can perhaps say that, or empirically validate, that attachment style actually predicts intimacy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
However, we can say that self-disclosure, that attachment predicts intimacy, and it's explained by the level of self-disclosure of that participant. That is, that self-disclosure is a mediating variable there, and that can be tested.
Mm-hmm.
You could also hypothesize that, hey, you know what, there's a relationship between attachment style and intimacy, and self-disclosure strengthens or weakens that relationship. That is to say, the interaction multiplying through attachment and self-disclosure, that interaction, or by multiplying it you get a product,
Mm-hmm.
that multiplication actually is a significant predictor of intimacy. That would support a moderating hypothesis. So even though you have your first research question, you can say, you know what, as ancillary analyses, okay, I would call them. If everybody's cool with one question, that is your advisory and committee, great. I would still add these other questions. Gives you a little bit more meat to talk about.
Right. That was part of my concern, is that it's, well, what and why does that matter if, you know, we can't say anything about how they interact.
Exactly. So the interaction is speaking to this moderating hypothesis or hypotheses. So you can say, you know what, if these things are predictive, okay, what's your sample size, by the way?
It's 118 if I
that's good. 108 or 118 or 180?
114 or 118. It wasn't fixed with the ANOVA.
Yeah, the 118 is great sample size, okay?
Okay.
Great sample size. That is to say, you probably have really good statistical power, which means that you're likely to find differences if they're in fact there, or relationships if they're in fact there. And then you could say, hey gosh, if I found something there that is attachment, demographics, or self-disclosure predict intimacy, hey, you know what, we're going to look at, you know, moderating hypotheses thereafter. That is the interaction of these things.
Okay.
There you go. And if you needed assistance, who would you contact here?
I would call Jeannie and Casey.
Janine and Carrie, close enough.
Jeannie.
Right. Very good.
Okay.
Janine and Carrie, close enough. All right, so use more than one question. Take advantage of a free consult, and then if you need more support, we'd be happy to assist.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr.
Yep, nice speaking with you. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, we're going to go to the next question and call here. Okay. And that would be Margaret. Okay, hi, Margaret.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Margaret, you sound like you're 12 years old over there. Come on now. How old, are you old enough to be in school?
I'm old. I'm 62. I'm too old to be in
Margaret,
school.
Margaret, you sound fantastic, okay? Your youthfulness, you've done something right in your life. You've kept your innocence. And you have a very sweet, light voice. You sound fantastic. And you're in for this for personal fulfillment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right. So, and your
Either
question
now or
is,
never.
huh?
It's either now or never to do this.
Oh, it's now.
Yeah.
Well, you heard the Tenacious Tiger comment earlier, correct?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. That's meant for you too. All right. So you vented 160 people, and you're figuring out the stats and how to interpret and write the results section.
Yeah.
So everyone here, we'll make sure this happens, is going to get the toolkit, okay? So the toolkit's going to have a data analysis plan. It's going to have a statistical decision tree about what analysis to use based on your research question and based on the type of data. Okay. So it's going to come up with sample data analysis plans as well. So if you need support with any part of that, that is creating a clearer data plan or using the either walking you through SPSS or using the accelerated results package or the accelerated quantitative results, okay, that can be knocked out in, literally an hour, hour and a half.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I've been struggling with this for weeks.
Well, most people do. So listen, I'm 53.
Oh.
Okay. So it's late in the day. We need to keep going here. Okay.
Yeah.
We only have another 70 years to live. That's a little bit too short.
Right.
All right. We have things that listen. We have minds to persuade and hearts to touch.
Yes.
Don't we? So let's move through the process, and that's for everybody out there. So in the spirit of that happening, the accelerated results package for really $600 in an hour and a half is going to move you through this. Okay.
How do I acquire that? What do I do?
Okay. You're going to call who?
Oh, Janine and Carrie.
Janine and Carrie, exactly, okay, at 877-437-8622. So 877-437-8622. They're going to get you with a specialist who's going to really walk you through this. We share the screens. We use our proprietary software package. We go from really the goal is to do it within an hour.
Wow.
From data management to the analysis, which pops out a narrative that you can then tweak, then to a walkthrough of that. It's fantastic.
That's great. That's what I need.
Yeah. The one of the two gals will move you along the process.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
No more spending weeks. It's late in the day for all of us.
Yeah.
All right? Call us. We'll be happy to help. And, again, you're not going to do any better than $600 or $575, whatever it is. We look forward to helping you. We also even help with discussion section edits or APA editing if you require that as well. Okay.
Right. Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Margaret will be of great help to you, and we'll make it quick too. Okay.
Okay. That's great. Thanks.
My pleasure speaking with you. All right. So we're going to go to the next caller if I can. Okay. Next question is right here. Okay. So it is Sadiq. Hi, Sadiq.
Yeah,
Hi. How do I say your name appropriately?
yeah. The name is Sadiq.
Sadiq. Okay, fine. Where are you calling from, Sadiq?
Actually, I'm in the UK right now.
You where?
UK?
In the UK. And
Yeah.
how'd you hear about it, Sadiq?
Online search.
You heard about us online. And, boy, you're calling from the UK. It's 2:30 in the morning over there.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I appreciate your tenacity to stay up. So let me seriously, and we'd like to help more UKers or people out there. So your question is just starting, still developing the research questions,
Yeah.
aims, objectives. What's the minimum number of sources I should consider to have enough for the lit review? Must I find? Okay, so the number of sources. Okay, and then must I find sources that are almost the same thing in terms of conclusion or future research? No, so the second part of your question, you don't need sources that are all pointing to the same future research, okay?
Okay.
And there's no magic number to the number of sources. I mean, when people write, let's back up a second.
Yeah.
Most people know the research questions they want to ask. We've been in school, we've read enough articles, we know which ones resonate with us.
Yeah.
So, so we know what we want to ask. Many times, advisors want somewhere around 30 sources, that is 30 references, for the lit review. Now, if you're in the prospectus or the proposal phase, you're not going to need but a couple, okay?
Okay.
But if you're in a literature review, they're going to want roughly 30-ish is the number. Some business schools want 60, but 30 seems like the magic number.
Okay.
80% of which are within the past 5 years.
Okay. Yeah.
So they got, some criteria mixed in here. Now, I want to say something about the research questions. For everyone listening, don't get hung up around this. Listen, we can assist very quickly by looking at the variables that you have, okay, and help you nail down research questions. I mean, typically within a half an hour, we can help you boil them down. Okay, and we'll look at the kind of data we have available, and but don't spend weeks or months fussing around this. Okay?
Okay.
As I just said to Margaret, it's late in the day for most of us. Let's get a move on here. Okay?
Okay. Because I've been reading a lot around the particular topic, and I got confused because a lot of authors have been saying different things. I'm just trying to put my ideas together.
The microphone's a little muffled to me.
Oh, okay. I said I've been reading a lot about a particular topic.
Say it again, please.
I've been reading about a particular topic. Hello?
I'm still not getting you fully for some reason.
Okay, I said I've been reading about a particular topic.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of topics have been saying different things. So I'm just trying to put it together.
Fine. You're going to have different people come to different conclusions about topics.
Yeah.
Just like one hot day doesn't make a summer, one study doesn't state what the truth is.
Yeah.
It shows support and non-support for that hypothesis given that population, given that way of assessing it.
Yeah.
Several studies, that's why they have meta-analyses, Several studies may point to different types of things. Okay?
Yeah.
So, that's okay. So, that's a good reason to, so one of two things going on here. One thing is a study might be, hey, you know what, there's a lot of conflicting information around these topics.
Yeah.
Therefore, a meta-analysis is justified. Okay?
Okay.
That's one approach.
Yeah.
The other approach is, you know what, this paper found support for this. The next paper, a year down the road, did not find support. We want to test that hypothesis out with this population, or using a different instrument, or in this setting at this time, and help justify your study. So in either way, what you're doing is turning that ambiguity into a rationale for doing what you want to be doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Other questions you have since you've stayed up for this thing?
About
Do you have any other questions at the moment?
yeah, about a predictive modeling.
About what?
Predictive modeling, to create a develop predictive model. I know it's
What about predictive modeling?
yeah, it's a mathematical expression, but the variables must they be quantifiable?
You have to say it again to me, please.
I mean the variables, do they have to be quantifiable? Qualitative
No. You can have qualitative. You can have a qualitative approach.
Oh, okay.
So they don't know. So you can have qualitative variables and do a qualitative study.
Oh, okay.
That helps me understand that why there might be some discrepancy in the findings.
Oh, okay. So
All right. So
used to generate a mathematical expression.
say that last part again.
I was wondering how it could be used to generate a mathematical expression.
You can. I mean, a lot of times people go for a qualitative study. They get themes, and then they use those themes, for example, to generate a quantitative study, all right, or a survey. So it is possible to change it over. Okay, who would you contact here? Should you want to move forward with help around that?
I think Team Conjetti.
Janine or Carrie is the
I
mantra.
think Cherry Shaver.
Right, Carrie Shaver, there you go.
Yeah.
Correct. Carrie Shaver would be the person to speak with.
Okay.
All right. So we're happy to assist you and keep you moving through it. So I'm going to jump to another call or start wrapping up around here. I want to thank you so much for that call. And I'm going to take one more call. Okay. So let me see here. Okay. So actually, we're just kind of at the end. That's fine. For everyone else, we'll make sure that you have our free toolbox. And as I say in that toolbox, there's a sample size calculator, data analysis plan templates, all for free. Video tutorials, free 30-minute consultation with who? That's right, Janine or Carrie. The our next. Okay. I want to invite everyone to our next online dissertation workshop. 4 hours, just $45. You can register. There we go. You can register at statisticsolutions.com/dissertation-workshop/ or call us at our 877-437-8622 phone number. Okay. Our next webinar are shorties for everyone who's ABD. So ABD Buster, tips to get back into the game. That's Wednesday, May the 13th at 8:30 p.m. And you can register at statisticssolutions.com/May-2015-webinar. And we'll email everyone here all this information. And I want to thank you all for your participation, for your smart questions, for your engagement, for staying up late. You know, we all started out with a vision and a dream many years ago. And here we are after lots of time and money and sacrifice to our personal time, to our family and friends. And we're here to support you. I appreciate everyone's determination and want to make you determined still. So thank you all for joining. We'll send that email to everyone. And again, thank you so much. And we look forward to speaking with you soon. All right, everyone. Be well.